Alright, I guess we'll call this part 2 of the front axle. I'm going to install my brakes today, tighten up a bunch of bolts, put the track bar on, put these fancy calipers. I don't usually go for fancy calipers, but these were the same price as stock Ford calipers, so I just went with them and put some new brake lines on. So that's what I should have going on today. Guess we'll start with the track bar. I think I'm going to have to get a new track bar bushing on this side. That one's worn out. Oof. All right, I got the look down to a few parts I need. I don't know if I'm going to go with this front steering stabilizer. It came with the parts I bought, but these are the rear shocks. And here is the front dry shaft. I don't have a clue if that's going to work. So, and these are some shock mounts I need to include. So for today, we're going to try to install a shackle flip. What it does is make it so instead of the springs hanging from the shackle, they're going to be supported from the bottom, and it gives me like a 4.5 inch lift, which should be exactly what I need to level up the four-wheel drive van. Oh, let's see here. Pretty much have it buttoned up here except for wheel speed sensors. I haven't worked the connections out for those yet. They're not too complicated, and I need to secure my brake lines. I got new brake lines on it, but sits pretty high. That's because I got a little 5.4 lightweight engine in here. If I had a heavier engine, it would sit a lot lower. But for right now, we're going to go with that and see how the rear lift works. Kind of cold out here. One thing I'm worried about though is when I lift this, if that front axle is going to move forward, because I read about it in the type of lift I'm going to do, the shackle flip is going to move the axle forward a little bit, which, I mean, I've got a little bit of space right here to be able to do that. Let's see if the other side's the same. Might have to modify it, but we'll see how it works out. Right now I'm going to take a measurement and see what the difference is between the front and rear. About 11 inches there. That's 6 inches here. So that 4.5 inch lift in the back ought to be just about perfect. We'll see. Taking the old rusty shocks out. I mean, these shocks are bad enough. Just trying to pull them out. Oh yeah, I've been working on the exhaust too. New stainless exhaust under here. So need a lot of work done underneath it, but getting these old rusty shocks out is not going to be fun. But I'll let you know how it goes. These things were a pain, but I got them off. They weren't as bad as I thought. And I encountered a new problem. I snapped the bolt off on the leaf spring retainer. Yep, snapped completely off. So, I'm gonna have to torch that thing off or something. Fun. Decided to give it a break, I guess. But I made some progress. This side should come off okay. Gotta cut the brackets off anyway, so I'm gonna think about dropping that tank. It's all rusty and everything, and I've got one left over from when I did the box camper. And I'm going to see if it's rusty or not. If it's not rusty, then it's gonna go on this thing. There it is. The outside looks like it's in good shape, but I have my doubts on the inside because this little port was open right here. If anything, it's going to be dirty as anything. So I'm going to go and take this off and see what it says inside. Got a bunch of crap in it, but as far as rust, it doesn't look too rusty. At least not in that part. Maybe on the edges. Not too bad. I think I can use this. Definitely have to clean it out really well. Yeah. Yep. I knew I was hanging on to that for some reason, so I'm going to take one apart, put a new fuel pump in that one, clean it out real good, and then stick it back up in there. In the meantime, I've got to cut these rear brackets off. I already got the bolts out of this one. I snapped the bolt on the other side. But hopefully I'm just going to cut that off with the plasma and see what happens. Seems a shame to cover these up with paint. All right, so clean the tank out pretty good. It's cleaner than the one I took out of there. So, oh yeah, forgot to tell you guys. I finished up. This is how it sits currently. 4.5 inch lift in the back. There's no weight in it or anything, so it'll should settle down, and the spring should settle down a little bit. But yeah, that's about as high as it's going to be. Front tire's a little bit low. Must have a leak in that one. But yeah, pretty happy the way it came out. If I ever want to put bigger tires on it, I'm going to have to probably trim this area right here. Maybe cut it at the body line right there. And I'm probably going to remove this rear bumper because I'm going to put a tire rack on the back. But yeah, I think it came out pretty good. So I'm going to put a new fuel pump in this tank. because the other one's probably got, I think it was original fuel pump, so it's got 190,000 miles on it. And I'm going to put this fuel tank, which came, if you remember in any of my old box camper videos, this was underneath the box that I bought. And luckily I held on to it because it's going to come in handy. My other one's all rusty and everything, so I'm just going to put a new pump and get this thing going. All right. So I was able to drive it out of the driveway over there, and that's the way it sits. It's pretty high. I could probably put 35s on this thing if I wanted to. Debating about cutting the bottom edge off where the body tucks under, get a little bit more clearance, but I don't know yet. Especially since the tire looks like it might rev. If I go 35s, I'm definitely going to have to, even 33s, probably have to cut that body right there. But lots of little things to do. Even got the exhaust fixed a little bit. A lot of body work to do, but that'll come later. Still have to do transfer case and transmission, which I'm thinking about putting a 6R80 like out of an Expedition. I've got a controller for it, which gives me a 6-speed. It's not like super heavy duty, but it'll be heavy enough for this, I think. Either that, or I really, in the back of my mind, would like to put a 6-liter LS motor in it, but it's much easier and probably a lot more reliable just to keep it a 5.4 and put the 6R80 transmission in it. So anyway, making headway.